Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Okay, good morning, folks. Good morning, fellow Nigerians. Good morning. Wherever you are watching us from, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, wherever you are watching us from. This is the program Inside the Print Media on Focal Online TV. My name is K. Lyndon Troba, and so much excited to be here to bring you developments relating to our country, Liberia. So let's roll strictly over to the Daily Observer newspaper. Slum dweller crave relief. Slum dwellers crave relief. So let's give you the content of this particular development. On the regular day, Mary Sayon sits beside her main shop in Buzi Quarter near the drainage, inhaling the fertile odor of trash dumped in the water. Here, access to quality air is a luxury. One could mistakenly step on Fizzy if they are not careful. Living here is like hell, she explains. Sayon is among the 1 billion people who are denied quality air as a result of living in slum, according to the United Nations Human Settlement Habitat in Liberia. They make up 70% of Monrovia's population, according to the City Alliance report. Improper housing facility, toilets, safe drinking water, garbage management on a daily basis faced by seniors and other residents. Formerly Buzi Quarter was established in 1945 to host people desirous of joining the armed forces of Liberia, according to the SDI data on slum dwellers. The area has 292 structures with an estimated population of 2,160. Data on land space is not available. The increasing population of slum dwellers caused them to be squeezed up into smaller rooms built without any urban planning or adherence to zonal regulations. Open defecation is a common practice among some. Others use makeshift toilets and public latrine. We pay 20 Liberian dollars for toilet and take bath near our houses or wake up early to take bath, Thomas Johnson said. The unavailability of hand pumps and well causes those residing in slums to rely on scarce water for drinking. A gallon of water is sold for 10 Liberian dollars. Improper waste disposal. Improper waste disposal is not unique to slums. Many areas in Liberia are flooded with waste causing pollutants. Streets are littered with trash, some of which are set ablaze as a method of disposal. The Monrovia City Corporations and the Plainsville City Corporation have consistently advocated for more support to effectively regulate their respective municipal ordinances. Former U.S. Ambassador to Liberia McCarthy accused the administration of President George Weah of failure to take responsibility for the garbage crisis. In an opinion piece, he asked, "Is there a basic local government responsibility in the collections and proper disposal of garbage? Garbage serves as a breeding ground for mosquitoes, flies, rats, and cockroaches that transmit bacteria to human beings. These insects are major carriers of malaria, fever, cholera, typhoid, and dysentery, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Garbage brings about mosquito Dr. Joyce Batekwa Galawu, an infectious disease specialist at the John F. Kennedy Medical Center. Flies transport microorganisms, so they are at risk of diarrheal diseases. They are at risk having some infections. Malaria is the leading cause of illness and death in Liberia, accounting for 2020 for 46.9% of outpatient, according to the World Health Organization. Diseases such as diarrhea, typhoid, fever, malaria, and yellow fever are prevalent in Liberia. Between 1989 and 2003, conflicts engulfed Liberia capital and other parts, killing an estimated 250,000 people, and many more fled neighboring countries as refugees. Some were raped, tortured, and made homelessly by armed rebels. The war ended in 2003. In 2006, the United Nations declared that it was safe for refugees to return home. Those who returned home with no homes, families, or place to call home were forced to build makeshift homes in slums. Many of them are residing on squatter rights and risk eviction by the government anytime. Others are only using their areas to generate funds by building makeshift houses to rent to people. These structures lack toilets and are often susceptible to flood, fires, and other potential disasters. We have nowhere else to go, says Weah Williams, who has lived in Buza Quarter for 14 years. Williams paid $15 as monthly rent for a room that has no bathroom. He says he is doing so because of his job. I work at Central Police, the Liberian National Police headquarters, and this place is closer to my workplace, he added. Monrovia's biggest drains run through these slums, causing pollution. The residents and the communities and others use the drain for dumping, and the toilet area causing pollution and makes the environment uncomfortable for the inhabitants and visitors. We sometimes come together to clean the area, said Fire Tuko. Tuko claimed that the people from neighboring community use the drainage as a dump site. According to him, the environment is flooded with mosquito and other harmful pathogens. He says it is worse when it rains, and the community is worried ahead of rainy season. In 2021, Mary Brock, former General Service Agency Director, threatened to close down any homes in Monrovia without a toilet. At the same time, Mary Brock was appointed by former City Mayor Jefferson T. Koji to chair the Citizens Engagement Board as a means of helping to clean the city of Monrovia ahead of the country's bicentennial celebration. Heavy rain that results in flooding are some of the causes of climate change that impacts slum dwellers. When it rains, the area gets full of water entering homes and that are not built properly. Those living in slums are heavily impacted. According to UN Refugee Agency, weather-related disasters drive millions of people from their home each year, and 70% of those who are internally displaced due to the war come from nations that are among the most vulnerable to climate change. Communities that have been forcibly displaced and are living in climate vulnerable regions are threatened with losing their lives as a means of subsistence. Cycle of disasters and displacement will continue and get worse in the absence of enough assistance to adapt. Slums in Monrovia are worried about the rainy season. With this being said, this is how we move over to another development on the Daily Observer newspaper. House passes 738.8 million national budget. House passes 738.8 national budget. Public administration, education get the largest appropriation. Those are the key areas the budget has captured so far that received the largest appropriation or a largest allotment. The House of Representatives voted unanimously on Monday to approve the draft national budget for fiscal year 2024 in the term of 738.859,827 and access of 46,451,000 to the version submitted by the executive. The executive earlier submitted 692.2 million. In an unprecedented legislative move, 60 members of the House of Representatives voted for the passage through roll call. Plenary decision followed a recommendation by the House Committee on Ways, Means and Finance after done budget hearing with the Senate for a 3-week public hearing into the 2024 draft national budget. The committee said that the figure was derived following hearings which were characterized by rigorous, robust budget debates. In this debate, the committee reported that ministries and agencies were given the opportunity to defend their draft proposal. In cases where there were doubts and insufficient information, the committee said it divided itself into subcommittees to ensure that the hearing intently looked at the programs in detail so as to ensure value of money. Major revenue generating agencies that were grilled were state-owned enterprises, including the Liberia Telecommunication Authority, the Liberia Maritime Authority, the Liberia National Port Authority, the Liberia Petroleum Refinery Company, and other revenue generating agencies and commissions. Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speakers, and distinguished colleagues, considering that there is an urgent need to improve and support the proper collection of government revenue, the committee wishes to inform you that these revenue projections are contingent on several factors, including measures to be taken by the Liberia Revenue Authority and the passage of some legislation by the National Legislature, the House's Ways, Means and Finance Development Planning Committee said. The appropriation stage follows the mandate of plenary that included the relevant sector committee during the public hearing. In this rigorous budget debate, ministries and agencies were given the opportunity to defend their draft proposal. During the public hearing, in cases where there were doubts and insufficient information, the committee divided into subcommittees to ensure that the hearing intently looked at the program in details to ensure value of money. Therefore, several measures shall be recommended herein. The committee added, Honorable Speaker and distinguished colleagues, to enhance revenue mobilization and ensure efficiency in our services sectors. The committee recommends the passage of the fiscal year 2024 national budget, along with its budget reporting papers and the fiscal measures stated herein, and in addition to the budget framework paper. Out of the 738,859,876 data, the largest chunk of 276,588,000 goes to public administration sector, education sector, 109,557,488 security and rule of law, and health sectors. The recommendations are adopted by plenary call for the following fiscal measure. Upon the approval of the budget by the President, the Ministry of Finance shall present to the legislature the final copy within 15 working days. Budgetary appropriation for the Liberia Revenue Authority shall be paid immediately upon collection of revenue by the budgetary ratio 5% of revenue collection until its budgetary ceiling is realized in accordance with the Act creating the Liberia Revenue Authority. All social development funds, including the land rental fee, shall be transferred directly to the affected counties' escrow accounts and swept at a real time. There shall be a revenue sharing of 50% between the central government and the county, cities, township, boroughs for all access budgetary revenue collected for real property taxes. The Ministry of Labor and Liberia Immigration Service shall retain 5% of revenue generated for the enhancement of digital tracking and service system to cover costs for enforcement to ensure efficiency in their work services. The Liberia Revenue Authority shall ensure timely collection of all taxes to include SOE contributions and arrears from road funds monthly, and maritime remittance payment being consistent with list card agreement, provided that all contributions shall be remitted at most on a quarterly basis, while the Bureau of State Enterprises shall ensure the financial reporting of all SOE as presented early, taking account their expenditures and revenue. The effective monitoring of all SOE shall be conducted monthly by the BSE at the expense of the SOE at a cost of 0.25% of all gross income per annum. The Liberia Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Mines and Energy shall coordinate to ensure the efficient collection of mining-related taxes, to include a mechanism for withholding at source. The Liberia Revenue Authority shall conduct a comprehensive reconciliation of all revenue transitory accounts. Amount realized from said reconciliation shall be reported in the supplementary budget during the mid-year review. Liberia Revenue Authority shall have view right on all internal revenue generating accounts of revenue generating entities, to include all state-owned enterprises, and reserve the right to garnish or non-compliance in the SOE. The Liberia Telecommunication Authority shall remit to the Ministry of Posts and Telecommunication 5% of its share of revenue as provided for its amendment. All spending and revenue generating entities shall submit quarterly report to the legislature through a specified procedure and a reporting template to be regulated by the Legislative Budget Office for providing a comprehensive report on the actual performance of fiscal year 2023 budget. And all spending entities shall present a comprehensive expenditure report to the legislature through the Legislative Budget Office or on before January 15, 2024. The Ministry of Public Works, for the purpose of obtaining value for money, shall submit to the legislature through the Legislative Budget Office a comprehensive list of all rules to be done as per the 2024 budget within 15 days for the passage of the budget for approval, and for the purpose of cost-effective decentralization and in the pliability of our rules, at least 25% of the road fund revenue shall be used to procure road maintenance equipment for all counties. All revenue collected from the road fund shall be remitted to the road authority by the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning as collected, while 5% of said fund shall be for the administration of the road fund authority. To empower Liberian-owned businesses, at least 25% of all procurement of goods and services, including capital projects, should be reserved for Liberia's businesses. All spending entities shall submit a quarterly report to the legislature through the Legislative Budget Office on the enforcement of this measure. The budget for the National Council of Chiefs and Editor shall be transferred to the Ministry of Internal Affairs as part of a department line called the National Council of Chiefs. All spending entities having PSIP lines in the budget shall submit a comprehensive proposal for the spending of all those appropriations to the Ministers of Finance and Development Planning, with a copy to the Legislative Budget Office prior to receiving allotment for said PSIP. All spending institutions should buy vehicles at $45,000 for use of head of ministry and agency. SOE among other, except the President, Vice President, Speaker, Pro Tempore, Chief Justice, and Deputy Speakers, respectively. Meanwhile, the budget has been forwarded to the Senate for concurrence. So with this said, this is how we would love to entertain a short break. When we come back, we fill you in with development regarding Front Page Africa newspaper and other news.
Hello, dear. My name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a. Hello, dear. My name is K. Lyndon Toba. Hello, dear. My name is. Hello, dear. My name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Greg Courage. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on our show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our...
Hello, dear.
Okay, folks, let's run strictly over to the front page African newspaper. There's such a very fascinating headlines in our country, and it is quite amazing that we keep you informed about all of the development taking place in our country, Liberia. So let's run over to the front page African newspaper. CDC acting chairman cautioned President Waka to refrain from tampering with the peace and stability of Liberia. I will read that again. CDC acting chairman cautions President Joseph Waka to refrain from tampering with the peace and stability of Liberia. The acting chairperson of the Coalitions of Democratic Change, Anthony Janga Augustus Cole, has sent out a fresh warning to President Joseph Waka to desist from what he termed as witch hunting Liberians, something he said could hamper the more than 2 decades of peace Liberia continues to enjoy. Addressing journalists Monday, April 19, 2024 at CDC headquarters in Congo time, Anthony Cole stressed that the laying off of officers of the Executive Protection Service, the suspension of officials of Liberia Telecommunication Authority and Governance Commission, and the banning of motorcyclists from driving major streets, including restrictions of street vendors and other abuses, as a recipe for conflict. The sentences of President Joseph Waka, the government has been proceeding wrongly. The government of Waka should not play with the peace and stability of this country. This country has been maintained not by the presence of the police, not by the armed security forces of the state. The peace of this country has been maintained by the Liberian people. So do not test the resolve of the Liberian people, because you do not have the adequate security forces to contain Liberian people. Anthony, CDC acting chairman, said. Anthony Cole added, "You should be warned not to tamper with the peace and tranquility of this country. You warn on the margin of errors. From the clear indication, it is the people will that matters. The country is divided now the middle. So do not exhibit arrogance in power, because it is arrogance that leads to a lot of conflict." The CDC acting chairman also warned the General Auditing Agency to not subject its constitutional function to President Waka's political mandate to investigate recent suspended individuals at the Governance Commission and the LTA. President Waka recently suspended Mr. Garrison Yelu, chairperson, and Madam Elizabeth Duncan, commissioner of the Governance Commission, with immediate effect. The president's action was not explained properly. Also, Madam Elwina Zakbai and Israel Akinsaya, Dr. Zowato D. Tactus, and James Bay, and Mr. Augustine K. Dix, chairperson, and several other presidents of the Liberia Telecommunication Authority were suspended and have asked to cooperate fully with the investigation of the alleged acts of corruption. Before their suspension, they were unlawfully dismissed and replaced with others individual by the president, but the individual took flight to the Supreme Court challenging the Liberian chief executive. The High Court later ruled in their favor, and the ruling was welcomed by President Waka, who believes that strict adherence to the rule of law is fundamental to strengthening the institution and building a vibrant democracy. Anthony Cole said that the acceptance of the court ruling by President was slip was lip service, and that the president violated the 1986 Liberian Constitution by suspending those individuals that were validated by the highest court of the land. Anthony Cole added, GSC should not subject itself to the political mandate of the president to investigate those same individuals. I call President Baka to stop politicizing the independent function of the anti-graft institution. It is a clear contravention of the GSC Act for the president, after making a political decision to unlawfully mandate the GSC to launch an investigation involving those whose rights have been violated. The GSC does not need to get an instruction from anyone, including the president, before investigating, Anthony Cole stressed. Also, Cole disclosed that the CDC will stand behind the right and survivor of the motorbike riders and ensure that the Unity Party administration fails in taking them up the streets of Monrovia. He stressed that President Baka does not understand and recognize the socio-economic contribution motorcyclists bring to the country's economy, adding that CDC as a party will resist any attempt to state security to harass motorcyclists, the motorbike riders as part of the country's economy, and a responsible government will not use restriction or regulation to remove them from the main streets. This is not the time. When the time is right, the motorcycle will leave the street, he added. With this being said, this is how we move over to another development. Liberian musician allegedly brutalized by LDEA chief claims his vision has become blurred, calls for Senate intervention. Liberian musician allegedly brutalized by LDEA chief claims his vision has become blurred, calls for Senate intervention. Liberian businessman and musician Mamudu Dabu has accused the director of Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, Ibrahim Kurman, and his deputy Hassan Fadika for allegedly brutalizing him at the Royal Grand Hotel in Monrovia. Dabu, commonly known as Too Sweet Babai, is the chief executive officer of Magic Group of Companies, Magic Foundation and Support. He disclosed that Mr. Kurman has invited him for a discussion at the hotel on Friday, April 26, when the incident occurred. He claimed that he consented to honor the invitation from the LDA boss in spite of the raising contention that I had done anything unorthodox. I should be reprimanded according to the law and not negotiated with at a hotel but at the LDA headquarters. Dabo's allegations were contained in a communication addressed to the chairman of the Senate Committee on National Security, Defense, Intelligence, Veterans Affairs, Momo Saros. Senator Saros also represents the people of Lofa County in the 55th National Legislature. While the intellectual exchange was ongoing, and being a Liberian musician and a businessman of 15 solid years with a high reputation, many onlookers came by, which eventually made AB conclude that I had brought talks to the hotel. He then called Hassan Fadiga, who brought the whole squad armed with guns, pepper sprays, and other harmful substances. He claimed that the LDA officers pepper sprayed him and some of his employees, including his lawyer, who accompanied him at the hotel. Dabo alleged that his vehicles were also damaged. As of today, this has left me with health issues, with my eyesight being blurred. He noted that since the incident and up to present, Mr. Kurman is yet to clearly state what he did to warrant his action. He maintained that the LDA boss also failed to establish whether or not he is trafficker of drugs or illegal substances. Dabo stated that his constant habit of flaunting cars and other valuables of his high-end money is a crime under the law of Liberia. The actions of Mr. Abi Kurman is unfortunate and has left me with bodily harms and ruined my reputation. I am bringing this to your attention, seeking an investigation which will eventually curtail such reoccurrence. He added that many Liberians could be affected if care is not taken and Mr. Kurman is not reprimanded. I could have been a dead man by now. There could have been many justifications here and there for such illegal action. David said it is quite unfortunate that he could be humiliated, intimidated, and harmed for no reason, noting that this is not the Liberia we envisage. I take serious exception. He, however, called on Senator Cyrus and his committee to launch an investigation into the matter to serve as a deterrent. When contacted via mobile phone, Deputy LDA Director Hassan Fadiga promised to respond to the allegation today. For his part, Abraham Kroman refused to pick up his calls or respond to text message from Front Page Africa. So with this being said, this is how we will entertain a break and run strictly over to the New Dawn newspaper.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Grefina Korishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like with no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on our show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage.
Okay, welcome back. Let's run over to the New Dawn newspaper. UP alarms national emergency over struggle for job. UP alarms national emergency over struggle for jobs. Barely days after completing its 100 days in office, the ruling Unity Party says the struggle for job among its partisans and political collaborators has become a national emergency that needs to be addressed quickly. We in the Unity Party are satisfied with the individual being appointed by the president. They are all educated people, but my disappointment is the struggle for jobs by those who help us to take the state power. National Chairman Reverend Luther Tapper disclosed this on Monday, April 29, 2024, when he appeared on Prime FM in Monrovia. Reverend Tapper knows that this is totally unfair for institutions and individuals who collaborated with the Unity Party during the 2023 presidential and legislative elections to demand almost half of government positions. The fact that you helped me brush my farm and plant my rice doesn't necessarily mean we should share my rice equally. No way, no sound man will ever do that. He rejects. The Unity Party chair says the dilemma that UP, the ruling party, currently faces in forming its government. He knows that the people who assisted the party is winning. The elections are demanding almost all of the positions in government. Something he says is impossible, and it is a serious disappointment that needs to be addressed. To be honest, some of the collaborators think they should have more leverage over the party itself, and it can be that way. You can't come to my farm to help and then you want me to take all. No way. He described collaborator actions as greedy, saying some of them are greedier than us only because they think that they are part of the rescue team. Reverend Tape, the Unity Party is the political vehicle that delivers President Waka, but their actions put the president's honor in immense pressure, and for me, it is frustrating. However, he says they are aware that the UP didn't obtain state power by itself, but to sought collaboration from other political parties and play a huge role in ascending to the presidency. That is why, as the chairman, I remain engaged with the president to discuss things that affect the party he has. Chairman Luther Tape reminds leader of the ruling Unity Party that once the president is engaged with the country, every party leader is incumbent upon supporting his vision instead of opposing it. Meanwhile, he clarified that President Waka's statement regarding his 100 days office isn't about taking asphalt to Southeast Liberia. as being wrongly perceived by citizenry. While President Waka spoke about no cash sticking in the mud, it is the realization that we are all seeing from the Ministry of Public Works with grading and rehabilitation of major roads across the country, he explains. Reverend Tapper maintains that President Waka never promised that he could have taken asphalt or tar to the southeast within 100 days in office, while pleading with Liberians that within the next 6 months they will begin to see progress of the government in every sector. Let's go over to the New Dawn newspaper again and bring you another development. Society for Human Rights lament plight of Liberian in Ghana. Society for Human Rights lament plight of Liberian in Ghana. The National Society for Human Rights wanted the government of Liberia to take concrete steps that will help address the current situations Liberians living in Buduburam refugee camp in Ghana are going through. Speaking in the Dawn press conference at the New Watered in Desert Assembly Apostolic Pentecostal Church International, the group president Archbishop Thomas Paul described the plight of Liberians at the Buduburam camp as terrible. According to him, his roof of church buildings where Liberians seeking refuge after they were driven out of Buduburam camp are being removed by the Ghanaian government on ground that they will not have a sleeping place. What we saw during our visit at the Buduburam camp in Ghana last week is very frustrating and needs urgent action from the government of Liberia, Archbishop Shimiko said. Also speaking at the press conference, Secretary General of the National Society for Human Rights Matthias Bono called on Canadian international footballer Alphonso David, who was born in Buduburam refugee camp, to help his fellow Liberian. Alphonso David, born November 2nd, 2000, is a professional footballer who plays left back or winger for both Singal club Bayern Munich and the Canadian national team. He is widely regarded as one of the best fullbacks in the world and among the best North American players ever. His exceptional pace, dribbling ability, and creativity have earned him the nickname Road Runner. Born in Ghana to Liberian refugee parent, Davis and his family moved to Canada when he was 5. He obtained Canadian citizenship in June 2017 and became the youngest player to appear to Ghanaia's national team later that month. In 2017, Confide Gold Cup against French Guiana, he scored 2 goals, becoming the youngest player to score the team and the youngest goal of Confide Gold Cup. For his part, the Bishop of the Waters in the Desert Assembly Apostolic Pentecostal Church is urging the Waka's administration to take immediate steps to address the plight of Liberians from the Buduburam camp in Ghana. The group currently operates about 37 countries worldwide. It describes as terrible experiences of Liberians over months since the Ghanaian government started the demolition of the Buduburam camp, situated about 40 miles away from Accra. According to them, based on their visitation findings and people spoken with at the camp, yellow machine moved on the Liberians as early as 4 a.m. while they were asleep and demolished their structure, forcing them out of the premises. Though the United Nations ruled in 2000 said that it was safe for refugees to return home, many traumatized and without connection remain in the so-called Liberia camp in Buduburam, about 45 west of Ghana's capital. But last week, under the orders of traditional authorities who own the land, demolition of the camp by Monday, a large part of the site where the once bustling Liberians has stood for 34 years was reduced to rubble, leaving only palm trees standing. Residents picked through the wreckage of their once brightly painted houses to salvage belongings as bulldozers plowed on around them. It nearly went whole basic school. Women, children, and the elderly slept on impoverished bed. Liberia sees Liberia camp ceased to be satisfied as refugees sent shelter in 2012. Since then, the landowner have been several attempts at demolition to get the Liberians out. The Liberian government recently sent a delegation to Ghana to meet with Ghanaian authorities about the situation. Negotiations were said to be ongoing to bring Liberians home, as they are no longer their refugee status in that country. So with this being said, this is how we would love to sum up with our news presentation. We are very, very sorry that we could not bring you development regarding the hot pepper newspaper because of time.